Hello students, welcome to Learner's Planet. Let us continue with the chapter Tissues. So let us understand the structure of this neuron so as to clear these basic points now. So, structure of neuron. Now these neurons are basically comprised of three parts. What are these three parts? They are cyton, dendrites and axon. So these are actually the regions, or these are the part of neuron only. Cyton is also known as cell body. It is the central part of the neuron. Dendrites, these are the small extensions of the membrane of this cyton. Then axon is a long branch or tail which is arising from the membrane of a cyton. Let us clear it each and every part here now. So the cyton, we said it is a central unit. You can see the diagram here now. This is a typical neuron structure. Now these neurons, we said they are made up of three parts. What three parts are there? Cyton, which is also known as cell body, then dendrites, that means the small extensions of these the membrane of the cyton, and the main part, that is axon, which is this long tail here, which is ending here in the several branches. So, a specialty of this cyton or a cell body, we said it is a central unit of a cell, that is a nerve cell. Now it is having a rich cytoplasm and is having a central prominent nucleus, a highly active nucleus. Now specialty is that they are having all the organelles which are normally each and every cell is having, but a special property is that it is having some granules in the cytoplasm, and these granules are known as Needles granules. These Needles granules, they are actually involved in the protein synthesis processes. So we can assume that these are actually comprised of some endoplasmic reticulum material as well as some free ribosomes. That means they are having RNA also. So these endoplasmic reticulum or the ribosomes, they together, they participate in the synthesis of proteins. Now these neurons, they are playing a major role in our body, and they need to be highly active and properly managed cells. So this management, this development of a nerve cell is actually maintained by the Needles granules. So here we can say the endoplasmic reticulum is basically presented in the form of these granules which participate in the protein synthesis. So this is the speciality of the cyton or a nerve cell present in the nervous system. Now these cyton or a cell body, their membrane shows certain projections, or they show some projections over their membrane, and these projections are known as dendrites. These dendrites are the regions which is able to receive any stimulus from the site where the stimulus has been received. Suppose, as we said in the case of first example, we are studying since beginning of this lecture, sensory organs present in the skin, they have received a temperature stimulus. They have observed certain hot item in the surrounding. So how this observation was possible? It is because those sensory cells in the skin, they get activated and they transmitted message to these particular dendrites. Now these dendrites, they will receive a message from the site of any stimulation. Now this type of activation or this type of stimulation of these dendrites will set a chemical reaction inside, and that chemical reaction would be converted to an electrical impulse which will be further transmitted in the further region. So here the basic function of these branches is receiving the message where the stimulus has been recognized. Next part is the axon. So these axons, they are a single long cylindrical processes of uniform diameter, of course. Now it is a long projection of this which is in association with the membrane of the cyton. They begins from the membrane and then they form a long tail like structure. In the end they get branched. That means they form certain fibers here, and the endings of these particular structures are known as axon terminal. These axons will transmit the message or the reaction which was set in the cyton. Now these chemical substances could not be transmitted here. Here what happens is the chemical reaction is converted, or it has generated an electrical impulse, and this flow of electrons takes place across the axon and is transmitted to the axon terminal. Now these terminals, they are in association with the dendrites of the next neuron. So similar type of stimulus would be received by the next cyton, that is dendrites of the next nerve cell. Now in between these two cells which we are discussing here, there is a gap. Let us show you here with the help of diagram. If suppose this is one of the cell here, the next cell is in contact with this. So what will be the structure of a next cell here now? It is something like this. It's just a rough diagram, so you can assume that what is actually present here. So these are present in this way. These are the endings of the axon, which are having some certain structures here, suppose. So this is a cyton here, these are the dendrites, and in between these two cells there is some gap. So this gap is known as synapse. Synapse, it is a gap which is actually connecting these two particular cells. So they will receive a message now, and this electrical impulse will be further transmitted in the forward direction and will be received by the next nerve cell via synapse, via dendrites. This is how they are transmitting the message. Now the thing is that these are having some different labels here, you can see now. So they are known as, the axon in some of the nerve cells may be associated or may be covered by a lipid layer. That lipid layer is known as myelin sheath, which is not continuous. So they are having discontinuity here. So these nodes or these points where this discontinuity is present is known as node of Ranvier's. And each cell which is forming the myelin sheath, that will be known as the Schwann cells. So this is how these neurons are helping in the maintenance of the nervous system. Now the point is how they are functioning, or what are the major functions of the nervous tissue. So now from this type of discussion, it is more or less very clear that the dendrites, they help in the transmittance of various electrical impulses, messages in the form of electrical impulses. Dendrites will receive the impulse, axon will transmit it to the next cell body. From where? From the central region. You can see here in this diagram as it is showing the flow of the same message we have discussed in the previous slide. These dendrites, they are responsible for collecting the electrical impulses. Then the cell body, it will integrate the incoming signal and it will perform certain chemical reaction, and then it will generate an electrical impulse. So this type of generation is actually a function of a cell body. Then comes the axon. The electrical signal which is generated here in the nerve cell or the cyton is transmitted to the axon, and then axon will carry these messages away from this particular nerve cell and is going to transmit it to the next nerve cell. Now this is the function of a single cell of a nervous system. Now you just assume that what could be the function of the entire network of these neurons. How the nervous system or the nervous tissue is actually participating, or it is following certain type of functions. So now let us verify these particular points now. Let us see that what are the different functions of the nervous tissue. So we can say, or we can summarize them as follows. The very first point could be, it helps in the regulation of voluntary actions. You all understand what we mean by the voluntary actions? Voluntary actions are those which we perform, which we take according to our own will. So whatever action you need to take, that should be in a controlled and coordinated method, in a coordinated way. So this type of command to take certain voluntary action is given by the brain, and that is of course a type of a nervous tissue. Then We can say that they also help in regulating the involuntary actions. You know what we mean by the involuntary actions? Involuntary actions are those which are not in our control. They have to take in on their own. For example, once you have eaten the food, then it has to be transported to the stomach, and then it has to be digested, and then the undigested food is to be removed from the body. The digested material has to be absorbed. So all this is not in your hand. See, if you have eaten food, it is completely digested. Now you cannot give a call to your body that now please take these digested food, absorb it in the blood and transport it to certain region. That is not in your hand. It happens automatically. Now automatically in a coordinated and controlled manner. And who is controlling this particular function? Of course, that is your brain. Let us say heartbeat. What is the normal rate of your heartbeat? It is 72 heartbeats per minute. Now you will not keep on sitting all the time and you will count how many heartbeats are over there, or you will command, you will say now please stop, minute is over, now don't go exceed. So all that is not in our hand. It happens normally. It happens in an involuntary manner. So this is a action which is set by your brain or your various nervous tissues. So say that even if in certain conditions, when you run so fast, your heartbeat increases, right? Now this heartbeat, once it is increased, it is never so that it will be at the same rate forever. It has to bring down to normal. Or let us say if there is some depression and your heartbeat has been slowed. So in that case also, it is never a continuous process. It is not a permanent process or action taken by the body. Now it is supposed to be bring to the normal level again. And that is the function of your nervous system only. The next we can say, it helps us in informing about the surrounding conditions. Whatever changes are going on in our surroundings, that will be actually informed. We can say whatever changes or whatever signals are generated in your surrounding, that would be observed by your body. As we have taken the example of some hot item. So these hot items, they were actually given by what? That stimulus was taken up by the skin. So that change which came in our surrounding about with respect to the temperature, that was informed to our body with the help of nervous tissue. Next point, it can help us, it is a major decision center of our body. It is a major intelligence center of our body. How we can say that? It helps us in thinking, reasoning, remembering the things, learning various things, then recognizing the various things which are happening around us, like listening, like we can say anything like moving around or anything. All that is actually coordinated by the nervous system only. Not only this much, it also helps in taking some automatic effects, or it helps us in giving some automatic responses. And these automatic responses which are given by the body are known as reflex actions. Let us say if you are moving around and some pin pricks your leg or your feet, what will happen? Either you will shout, and that is a natural response coming from you, right? Or you will just pull your leg back, or you will take some action accordingly. So that automatic response which is generated without thinking, even that is the role, or that is the function of your nervous system. So all these are the basic summary of the functions which are performed by the nervous system. So we can summarize all this in this way, and then next this is all about your tissues chapter. You can brief out, or you can go through it and you can understand the things very well now. So let us finish it off. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. We'll catch you soon with next chapter on the next sessions later on. Till then, goodbye.